This episode is brought to you by Atlassian. Atlassian makes the team collaboration software that powers enterprise businesses around the world, including over 80% of the Fortune 500. With Atlassian's AI-powered software like Jira, Confluence, and Loom, you'll have more time to do the work that matters. In fact, Atlassian customers experience a 25% reduction in project duration per year. Unleash the potential of your team at Atlassian.com. Atlassian.
Gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs fragrances this holiday season. From the iconic Daisy and Perfect to the all-new Daisy Wild, Marc Jacobs perfume gift sets include everything she needs to feel special. From her favorite fragrance, plus the matching travel spray. Holiday gifts don't get much more perfect than this. So if you're looking for a gift inspiration these holidays, gift the remarkable with Marc Jacobs.
All right. Welcome back. It's Fit Nation. What's going on, everyone? Been staying busy this week and leaning forward as we climb this mountain and fall into Christmas time. When I was finding my way, being a podcaster was never something in the cards for me. I knew I can write. I knew I liked to mess around with music, but I was never good at any of that stuff. But I didn't think I'd be a podcaster. So it wasn't in my cards. So when I started this, it started as a challenge to myself since I had about 8 hours a week left over between school, work, and other responsibilities. So I dove into it. It is like that for many of us out there who see a challenge and just go straight after it. If you do not, then life gets in the way. And that challenge or dream just becomes a challenge that you lost or a dream that fades into the mist. Our next guest is a marketing advertising expert. She is also a social media influencer with a pet account that has reached over 240,000 followers on Instagram. She doesn't even own a pet. She jumped from her life in Brazil to an unknown in Israel and has taken the challenge head on. So without further ado, let's get Milena Farber, marketer, social media influencer, on here. All right, welcome to the Misfit Nation. Milena Farber sitting there in her house in Israel right now. She's a marketing expert, social media influencer. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure for me.
It was a little hard to get our calendars to link up, but we finally got it going. It was probably the hardest one I've had to do in a while. The time difference makes it a little harder.
Well, yeah. Where you're in Toronto right now, right?
No, in Chicago time zone, United States.
Oh, okay, I see.
So Central. It's about I think it's 8 hours exactly between the two of us.
Yeah. Well, not a problem. We're here for that.
Yeah. I've done it the opposite way to talk to people in New Zealand, so I interviewed them. I was at 9 o'clock at night talking to them their morning time. So,
wow.
So that's pretty cool.
Okay. So you got me.
So if you don't mind, tell the audience a little bit about yourself from as far back as you want to go to how you got to what you do now.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Brazil. I am from São Paulo. And I moved to Israel almost 3 years ago. Without my family, everyone's still in Brazil. And actually, I came with a big challenge on what I want to do in my entire life. So basically, even before I came here, I'm graduated in marketing and advertisement. And I have been working with social media since I think over like 7 years ago. So even before I started the university, I said, okay, what I want to do. And my mom, she's a speech pathologist. My dad is working with sports business. And then I thought like, okay, what can I do? So I went like on my father's side, like on the marketing part. And even before I started studies in the university, I created an Instagram account, which is the Instagram that I have right now. I have an Instagram account where I create content about dogs, especially. But the name, it's called like The World of Animals in Portuguese. Um, I have over 240,000 followers, but all of them are mostly from Brazil and Portugal because I'm creating content in Portuguese. And so everything started when I saw a huge potential on my Instagram, and I saw that business and brands and companies, they were starting to contact me because they wanted to promote their service and their product in my channel. So I saw myself in a new challenge where I don't have any dog or either a cat. So how can I promote the product, or how can I promote their service? So I can say it was a very good challenge. I have like some family members with dogs and everything. So it wasn't just like as a hobby. It started as a hobby, but once in a while I was starting to get income from it and make some kind of like a business. And basically that's why I decided to do marketing. And it was like 7 years ago, 8 years ago, where we didn't have kind of influencers, and
Right.
there was just like Snapchat, Instagram was starting to,
Grow.
become famous. Yeah. And that's actually how it started. So I came to Israel after a few years, and I have been working with social media and influence marketing here as well. I'm still managing my Instagram, but my main focus is on my job. Right now I'm the social media manager at Namugu, which is a B2B company, and they have a solution for e-commerce and so on. So I'm into this marketing world, pretty much like creative. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. A little bit.
That's a little bit. That's a good introduction there. So for your move from Brazil to Israel, did the company pay for you to go there, or did you fly there and say, I want to go for this job?
No, actually, no one paid me. There's kind of a movement for that they called Aliyah, where it's like everyone that is Jewish, it doesn't matter which country you live, they have this kind of movement that they want to bring Jewish people that are abroad back to Israel. So because of the story and everything. So I have this kind of benefit, I would say. So for me, like it's easy. I can get the passport. I could come here for free, kind of, But when I came here, I didn't have work, or I didn't have any opportunity in mind. I just came like with my bags and, let's live life and see what's gonna happen. It took like a while for me to, understand how things work. Also, the language is kind of challenging here. Hebrew, it's a different alphabet. So, but it's a good challenge because every day I'm learning something new. So I'm here for 3 years, but I'm learning every day, every single day. It's amazing. So yeah, I came with this movement, but of course, like before, I did a few tourist trips here just to understand, like, okay, where I'm living, because we know what's going on in the world. We know, like, we hear stuff about the conflict between Arabs and Israelis, but Jewish people. But I didn't have I had the chance to know how things work before deciding if I would live here or not. But I knew that in Brazil I didn't want it to stay, so that was the only thing I was sure.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about the language challenge moving from Brazil to Israel, and you already answered that. I knew it. That's a big difference in languages. Even if you knew English in between, that kind of helps both sides. But the
Exactly.
Hebrew language is a very difficult one to pick up on the fly.
Yeah, it takes a while, and even I studied in a Jewish school, but the English was even better than the Portuguese. Um, and I knew a little bit of Hebrew. I could say like I could know little stuff, like basic stuff. I could go to the supermarket to buy something. Um, but really like going to the doctor or paying bills or something like that, it's much more like hard. I just turned into like try to understand everything when I came here. So again, like I'm still learning every day. There's something that we need to deal with. Like if someone calls me, I'm like, okay, step by step. My Hebrew, the first thing they say is my Hebrew is not the best, but okay. And because of my name, they think I'm Russian, but
Oh wow.
I have no idea how to speak Russian. Um, yeah, but they have like they're very English friendly here, so that's good. That's really good.
You'll notice almost many countries around the world, when you go there, a lot of them will speak English because it's a challenge to them, and once they learn it, they're proud to speak it. So
Yeah.
with the military, when I go around the world, I try to learn their language. I say something in their language, they say something back to me in English. And that's a lot of studying down the drain. You already speak my language.
Exactly. No, but here Israelis, they love English, they love the culture and everything, and they sometimes even when you say that you don't know Hebrew that much, they already start to say with you in English, and because they want to say it, and you want to say Hebrew instead, but they want to talk to you in English, so it's nice. Yeah, they are very, very nice. There's like some people say here in Israel that Israelis have like a how can I say, like a very hard heart, because they look very rude. Sometimes they are very clear and very direct on the way they say, but inside they have like the most lovely heart ever. It's just like insane. You can't really see it, but it's like something that then you say like, wow, if you need something, they're always there for you. It's really, really nice. So this was something good. Like I know there's a lot of Brazilians here, and like a very huge community of Brazilians depending on the city. But in general, it's easier to make like friends, Israeli friends, than Brazil in Israel. So yeah, I feel like here it's a good place, and like friends turn into a family once you don't have like your real family with you.
That's a
So
that's a great thing to have, especially when you're that many miles and hours away from your own family, and language barriers and all that. Creating that new circle of friends and a new family, basically, a new tight knit family there helps you out, because there's times where I'm sure you miss home, and they come in, they're able to make you feel a lot better, and especially when
yeah.
it's like a carnival time and stuff, you miss those days. They try to, I don't know if they'll put on a carnival for you over there, but you can make like one for them.
No, it's true. Like right now, actually, this week they closed the board for tourists. So even if my family would love to come, they wouldn't be able.
Right.
It's tough. It's kind of tough, but life, you know.
Just got to deal with it at this time, especially
Yeah,
the last couple. I mean, you moved there just before all this craziness started in the world, so you've seen now,
exactly.
well, I guess, two waves of it over there. You've seen the first lockdown, opening, soft opening, and then now this lockdown. So you've seen people's heads almost explode because they're happy and sad, and it's all, that's a big thing to go through for everyone in the world right now, and everyone is wondering what's going to happen next, and that you're sitting over there just smiling because it's his life. That's all you can do.
Exactly. That's all I can do.
So turning back to you and your influencing, have you helped anyone on the side outside of your actual job to maybe build their brand or become an influencer themselves?
So I did a few kind of, I wouldn't say works, but I helped some of my friends and even some family members on also like how to positionate their brand on social media, but also to how to become an influencer and how to create content on social media. Especially because my expertise it's more on Instagram, and I can say like we all know that all the social channels are always changing the algorithm. So we need to stay updated with the trends and what's going on and how things are working in the social world. But yeah, I worked with a few friends on helping them, even from scratch, on how to create the channel, the branding, not really doing the work, like helping them and assisting them, but guiding them on the logo or how often they need to post on social media, or how they need, what's the voice, the tone that they need to say, and so on. So yeah.
I mean, you started your Instagram, I guess, right, like you said earlier, when it was growing. So you got in at the ground level and were able to watch these algorithms as they change pretty much monthly now. When they see one person rise and they want to help others or keep that person slowed down, they'll change the algorithm a little bit just to keep the competition high and to make you work a little harder, I guess, as your influencer, so you don't get stale in your own content. Do you ever find it's hard to keep up with the algorithms?
Yeah, it's like living in Israel. Every day is a new challenge. Like sometimes you're posting at 9 p.m. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. And it's always changing, always changing. Like, for example, getting verified on Instagram. A few, I would say, weeks ago, getting the verification badge, the blue badge,
Yeah.
would help you on if you're following someone and this person is not following you and you're sending her a private message and you have the verified the blue badge, your message wouldn't be on the request box. It would be directly on the primary box. So that would help. And now they just simply changed. It doesn't work really like that. So it keeps changing every time. And again, it's a challenge. But that's why we need to keep updated and stay tuned with what's going on and see what other people are doing. Yeah.
Just like before I started the podcast, I would just post pictures of the sunrise and sunset in my backyard or my dogs. But I didn't have 200,000 followers for my dogs, believe me. I might get people chasing me for my dogs, but that's about it. But
you can share the picture with me. I can shout out to you.
I'll send it to you. I have 4 of them. I can send one a day.
I can post, not a problem. I don't have a dog, so in general, how I created, like how I build my channel is just like to give the opportunity to share other people's dogs.
Okay.
So basically that's how I started, and that's how it's not just creating the content but engaging with the community. So I felt like in social media there was something missing, like, okay, there's lots of Instagrams of dogs, owners creating their pet's channel or something like that, but there's nowhere that they can be shout outed or promoted. So how can we do that? So that's basically how I created my channel. You can see that I'm not posting pictures of me, of myself, because I can't, I'm not a dog, but also I don't have any dogs. So that's basically how I created the community.
That's outstanding though. And when I seen that number, I was like, that's a lot of followers for dogs. That's amazing.
Yeah. And I can say that they are very, very engaged in the comments. And again, like things are working differently, but in the past, most of my followers came from comments. So it was everything organic. And we know that right now working organic on social media, it's kind of hard, especially when they see that the competitors are spending lots of budgets and investing a lot of time on ads and campaigns. So the money wins. in the end.
It always does. It's
Yeah.
money beats the little guy all the time. Hustle has to
Yeah.
come in factor there. So if say a young entrepreneur is growing their business, we know most businesses now are online, mostly because of the way the world is right now. What's the best things they can do to get their product seen before someone selling the same thing on Instagram?
So I think even before posting on social media, they need to have kind of a strategy behind on what they are looking for. And when I say that, it's much more like marketing, but then it makes totally sense. So we're talking about understanding the product and the persona. So if you have an online business or you have a product and you want to be exposed on social media, which social channel you should have. Sometimes all of them, sometimes not all of them. So sometimes TikTok works, but if your target is not on TikTok, then it's not really relevant for you to have a TikTok channel. Then whenever you understand what do you want and what do you think is best for your business, it's just time of of creating consistency and making sure that whenever you're posting and creating something, people will see that and will say like, this is your brand. This is you, and they are going to recognize you for that. And for sure working with influencers right now, which is one of the biggest trend. And when I say influencers, I think right now, like working especially with nano and micro influencers, the ones with less amount of followers, but they are very, very niche. And it's interesting because I'm saying that I'm not sure if I'm considered a micro influencer, but brands should work with micro and nano influencers because the results, not just in terms of sales and in terms of brand awareness, but in terms of like getting exactly your target, that's the best thing to do. And they have your audience. It's there. So and I think like whenever you create with influencers and building a type of a kind of a community with them, engaging with them and being like creating a relationship for like in the future, maybe turn them into a brand ambassador and working more like on consistency, like not just paying them for a post or sending them a kit or like something from your brand, but having them with you as a consultant, as someone that can create content for your channel, and someone that can show up on podcasts and webinars and events and can really hold your hand and stay with you along the journey. Because I think whenever you see someone on the television and you see like, okay, this actress relates to this brand, then it makes more sense. And then you start to get more feedbacks on your product and your business, and it's just like time for you to grow your business, but also at the same time it's too much like value for it brings too much value for the business itself. Yeah.
Good.
I like to talk, so you can stop me anytime.
Oh, you're good. You're good. This is for you to put out your information and tell your ideas of how to make things work for people. As you've seen it grow from 7 years ago to now, where do you think it's going to go in the next 5, maybe 10 years?
So actually today I was watching the video from Meta from Facebook. I'm not sure if you watched. So just now Facebook changed not their name, but they're recognized now as Meta.
Oh.
Yeah. And it's really interesting to see on how they see things with artificial intelligence, VR, virtual intelligence, and how things work. Like, me, I'm going to be sitting next to you in a few years. I don't know how, but I am gonna be there. But in terms of social media, I think what's gonna change most is people are trying to. They're getting the feeling that they want to see real content. They want to see real people. They know if you're doing a paid campaign and you're not showing that it's paid, they know that you're getting paid for that. And the more they see that, the more fake you are, either as a brand or either as a person, they're gonna start to run away. That like people are getting, like on Instagram, for example, they see stuff that sometimes it's not really something that they were expecting to, and there's lots of issues with depression and all of those, which it's like just insane that to happen, but that really happens. So in terms of like influencers and brand, I think what's gonna change most is like the way that you expose your service or yourself. Because people are really aware on what you're saying and what you're doing and where you're going. And they want to see real stuff because they want to follow people that whoever life they have, it matches with their what they think or what they do and what they like. So I would say that would change that would change. And in terms of like strategy, it always change. So I don't really know like what to predict in a few years from now, but a lot of things are gonna change. Mostly maybe video stuff. Having podcasts also, it's something that increased like a lot, and influencers are being working on it also. But they are working like seasons, different like there's like different kinds of podcasts, but influencers are most likely doing seasons and so on. In terms of partnerships with and collaboration with other brands, I think like influencers, they're starting to realize that money is not everything. And if they are not using the product, and if they think their audience are not matching with the product that they are promoting, I think they're gonna stop doing that. It's just simply like if people are not buying or liking their post because the product does not match what they want, influencers are gonna recognize like, okay, now I'm not gonna collaborate with this brand because it's not what my audience wants. So also that's something that I want this to happen, because we all know like how influencers are. Sometimes they get a product but they're not really using, but they're getting the money from it. But so it's something that I want this to happen, but I think it's really gonna happen because again, like people are seeing the content because they like it. So yeah. Lots of people like right now are just deleting their Instagram because they see fake stuff, and they unfortunately have this kind of depression and things. I'm saying especially on Instagram, but also on other social channels, they see what other people are doing and they want to do the same thing, and sometimes they can't. So I think those are the main things that's going to change.
And I think to your point of strategy, I think you always have to stay on top of strategy every year, every month, whatever, because it always changes. You're not always going to be the best person in the business. You have to keep fighting to get up there. If you don't do that, you're going to keep falling back and back until you finally realize what just happened. And then you're so far behind what the strategy was, it's hard for you to catch up at that point.
Exactly.
So if someone wants to reach out to you and get in touch with you to come on their show or to give advice, how would they do that?
Anyone can reach me out on LinkedIn. My different name and my last name, Milena Farber. Or you can always reach me out on my Instagram, on the Animals Instagram. And yeah, I'm here to help. And really like I'm not even doing like consultant work, but I really like to help people and really understand what are their needs, because we all know how challenging it is to grow and to make things work, especially when you need to stay updated with the trends and news and what's going on in the world. So I'll be happy to help anyone that wants to reach out to me.
Well, thank you, Milena, for coming on and taking some of your night with us. And I look forward to hearing from you in the future.
Yes, for sure. Thank you so much. Thank you for the time and looking forward.
That was great chat with Milena. Be sure to check out her links in the show notes and reach out to her for tips and tricks how to be successful in marketing or how to become an influencer and how to stay ahead of those algorithms. You can also watch this one on our YouTube channel, The Misfit Nation. It's _Misfit Nation. So you know how we do this. Thanks for taking some of your time to spend with us on Misfit Nation. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and share the link as much as possible. If you want to, please become a supporter to help carry this thing on. We appreciate you. If you know someone that would bring that energy, has a great story, just wrote a book, is about to drop their first album, send them to our website, themisfitnation.com, and reach out to us. We'll get back to them within one day. And as always, till next time, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling, because we are Misfit Nation.